All right. Good afternoon, traders. Welcome on back here this Thursday afternoon, May 2nd. Great to see John, one of our newest students here, just joining us right now. Mark and Chuck, great to have them with us as well. Let's just get a quick sound check to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear, but we should be good to go. Markets are still pushing back on up for right now, so that's nice to see. There we go. Great to have all of our students right now with us. John, as we had said just before, he killed it just earlier on that ENVX, in and out a few times. Chuck also did pretty well today, as well as Charles, Phil, Brian, Margaret, Joyce. There we go, rounding out the pack there. Loud and clear from everybody as well. And great to have all of us back on social media. I got 2 disabled fingers. Let's see if I can spell this out correctly here in one shot. No surgery, thankfully, required for myself here, but I got these like big fat finger splints. I got a face for radio today, so no webcam, so you can't really see it. But I got these big fat finger splints in my ring and my middle finger on my left hand. I'm lefty dominant. So actually, one of the only good things that I can still do with my right hand is trade, use my cursor, use my mouse, and zoom in and out here on this screen at least. So ENVX, thankfully, is one of a couple of trades that we ended up doing really well on earlier this morning, earlier this afternoon. Go over the stock at least from beforehand. It actually wasn't as nice. It pulled back, but this actually got pretty choppy at first. Right? Let's be honest here. This trade, and there's another one, EBS, which I know a lot of us, myself included, did pretty well on, but damn, it was actually pretty choppy at first, right? Especially during prime time hours. So finally, this ended up continuing to hold over my 2 levels there around 850, 855. I was on a couple of coaching calls with students, and I was even telling them it looks like it's going to break below those lines. Looks like it's going to crash. You got to keep faith in with your level, right? So I'm not going to set my stop over my level. I'm going to set my stop under. So actually, shout out to one of our students, Dominic. I think he cleared like 35, 40 cents off of that area with us earlier too. But, from that point, it ended up building back up, broke above the opening print, broke above that 885 level. From there, took off. Now, really across the morning, though, I mean, I said this from pre-market too. Earlier on today, my target on this trade, I think, as early as 11:17 in the morning. I probably said it during the audio commentary, but in chat at 11:17 Eastern, I wrote, let's see ENVX to 950, roughly around that 950 area. And then at 12:22, basically kind of reiterating fact, I still want 950. 12:51, we're going to 950 unless it breaks back under 885. It did not. And yeah, here we are now. I think that there could be more room left on this trade, not just to 950, but maybe even closer to 10. So yeah, I'm going to put this trade on our list to begin. Let's see if I can use a pen. I actually haven't used a pen yet, all right? Or a notepad yet. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Okay. Thankfully, you can't see this here. ENVX. We got one. All right. So I might have to learn how to write with my right hand. Let's go from top to bottom now, though. I mean, this trade's been pretty nice to us, at least across the afternoon from 850 area. Like I said, my entry 862. I took half out on my trade actually as I jumped on a call earlier. That was around 9 and change, 9:14-ish. I was happy with taking half out there even, but I feel like there could be more to go. So still got half left. Now, with that in mind, let's just go right from top to bottom, though, here. See if there's anything else looking just as good. Oh, you know what? Honestly, I got to rerun this again. Hold on one second. That's fine. Jack up that volume criteria. But otherwise, though, EBS, I mean, we're not going to put this on our list now at this stage. It's actually pretty interesting that it did come all the way back down to the first level in which it broke from. And this is one of the other trades that were pretty choppy, pretty rugged from earlier this morning. Thankfully, had a great payoff. Really, it was a nice payoff after. Allowed us to jump back in and ride it all the way up towards near $5. But, it was pretty rugged at first, around 325. Right? Especially during prime time hours here. So, took a couple losses on this from earlier today before getting that run up. But even now, it pulled back down to said level, down towards that 325. And, well, it didn't really hold for long. It bounced at first, but then came back down lower. So, obviously, this is like the pop and drop, pump and dump type of stock that you want to stay away from as far as a swing trade. We're not swing trading these stocks. That's the last thing that you want to do. Something lower float, something lower volume normally. So, we'll pass on EBS. We'll probably pass on a few of these trades here at this point. Aspen Health, Aerogels, ASPN. Hey, it's a nice chart, but even now, looking at this trade, the order book, the liquidity, lack thereof, Pass on it there. It's all right. Probably a lot that we'll pass on. There's our ENVX. That's not one that we're passing on, obviously on our list already. Wendy's calling out Paramount coming off earnings earlier in the week. And, we saw them earlier in the week, but here we are now at this point, and I saw them run earlier today. We'll probably put them on our list. SNSE was a pop and drop also from before, so wasn't too interested in that. SGPX, just flat, same deal there. Listen, for the afternoons, not to say that my job's easy here building up this watch list, but our parameters are pretty straightforward. We're following stocks near the highs for a long, near the lows for a short. We'll talk about that in class. That's a little free game of the day for all of us here otherwise. But this year, PRDO, well, near the highs. I like that. It's still somewhat near 2360, right? Just a few cents away. Big level here off of 2343. Who was it just earlier today? I was on a call with Tony. We got my guy Tony here in chat right now. Tony, look at this from the TradeStation Matrix. Right? We were talking about that on our coaching call earlier today. Also some free game for all of us otherwise. I'm going to talk about that in Traders Talk. But, looking at that huge spike of volume, that there's some big volume, big level off of there. 2343 just broke above it right now just a moment ago here. So, yeah, you know what? PRDO. Let's see if I can write this one out. PRDO. There we go. Use my finger, my thumb, and my pointer finger for this one. It's going to be tough to write, but we got it here so far. PRDO, not so bad. And we'll see if it maintains above that 2343. Again, SPY is pushing back on up right now, so we were hoping for that to happen off 500 today. Thankfully, it has. And probably a few name brands going up with that in mind, but a lot of flat stocks here on the top of the gainers list, though. Nova, Com, RSI, not the indicator, obviously. Come on, I had to slip a little stock joke in there, right? SYRA, not doing a whole lot there. OLPX, not so bad, not terrible on the eyes. Moving back on up now, back over VWAP, or bouncing actually off of it. Didn't break under. Went down to it, held it off 160 and bounced, and back over big volume level, just like we said before, looking at the matrix at 165. OLPX. There we go. All right, we keep it going, though. We got 3 now on our list. It makes it 4 now with XPEV. I like this trade, at least. Comparing this and NEO, both are going to move similar. If I put XPEV on our list, I'm likely to put NEO on our list, likely to put Li on our watch list as well, kind of all those, Chinese EV companies together in tandem. But if you're asking me what's my favorite, what's the one I'm trading more? XPEV. We're going to add all 3, but one goes above the rest. Why is that? It's just, to me, the best bang for the buck, not just because it's up the most percentage-wise compared to the others, but it's what you always hear me talk about, like the crypto stocks, Mara and CLSK. The more expensive they get, they should be more active trade, but then why not leave them, right? That's even more expensive. It's also in terms of just average move that it can make per day. So in terms of just the general volatility that we've seen these stocks carry, that's where I still say XPEV is still the more volatile stock of the two. And with it being cheaper, that's where it's even better. So, that's where I'll take this trade, if anything. XPEV, we'll add all of them. Billy's not a Chinese EV company, but, it moves with the China markets overnight on a gap up, gap down situation. I think they may have had earnings as well recently. So having a little good push just before. Looks like it fell off a little bit, though, here. So a little bit different compared to the EVs that we just spoke about. Hertz, Para. Okay, so Para coming off earnings. And then again, just another big move today with, I think we ended up seeing a good ladder on the bid kick in. Let's see where that's at now. That was from earlier today. It was about 60,000 shares, 62,000 shares on the bid right there off of 1280. Then over time, and whether it's the same person or whatever, they started playing a little hockey here on the bid. But over time, it ended up laddering up more and more. And yeah, still pushing up towards resistance now at 14. So good call from Wendy earlier. It's one that we had our eyes on and definitely going to keep on our list. Got I'm all for clumped here on this notepad as well. All right, so para. There we go. All right, what else we got here on this gainer side? Probably a lot more to work with today than yesterday. Some other Chinese equities moving on up right now. Go to. Ooh, nice little trade here, right? What are the other Chinese education companies? There's TAL and then there's EDU. I like that go-to trade though. GOTU moving back to the highs, testing a little resistance here at 720. Making me right today. Ah, man. I gotta learn to write with my right hand now. All right. Chuck saying DraftKings is an option play before earnings. So definitely something we'll look at. We love DraftKings. Normally my stance is like, I'm not really trading the stock pre-earnings because they normally don't make a good move, but I like the company DraftKings. I know Chuck's following that, and he's one of our good traders here. So very good call from Chuck. Definitely. We'll take a look at it at least. But seeing if anything else. I mean, what do we got? Like CYCC, not doing much. Jumia, not bad. Actually breaking above higher highs, looking at the last week or so's worth of charting. So, you know what? This one too, I'll add Jumia. There's our Tau trade. That's pretty much it on the gainer side, right? There's probably going to be a couple others that are up percentage-wise. So let me know if there's anything else I'm missing. I'll take a look at DraftKings in just a bit. So we saw power from the gainer side there. Caught that from the gainer side at least. But hop over to the losers here now. VSTS, kind of garbage. Now, this is where it's easier for me to even just go further and just say, like, yes, no to XPEL. If this had a better order book, my answer would be 100% yes. But otherwise, we already have a good list. There's not a need to force anything on our watch list with a 10 to 15 cent spread. Even this is going back up a little bit for now. Same deal. You do have a lot of stocks at the lows, as far as a good short opportunity, just the liquidity sucks. Can't fight that. It's like trying to go outside in a tank top and it's like pouring rain outside like thunderstorms. Probably not the best idea. Could you do it? Yeah, I guess. Best idea? Probably not. All right. What else we got here? Penn down big, maybe off of earnings of their own. Speaking of gambling and gaming. Big drop earlier today. Missed that. Actually, Rich called that one out earlier. I got to say he was on top of that, at least in our chat board. But all right, Chuck. Let's see what DraftKings is doing here. I definitely like DraftKings. Taking a look at it. Yeah, it's only up like 1% to 2%, but after earnings, I mean, hopefully if it pops, I'm rooting anyone on pre-earnings if they're trying to do that. But otherwise, once they come out with the earnings, then we'll follow it. You know what I mean? I was asked that about AMD like earlier in the week from a student. Like, hey, you still trade AMD? Not really. Only if you hear me every day. Like I'll call it out when it's moving. But otherwise, I'm trading stocks more within my price range, right? Well, AMD with earnings came out earlier in the week. I'm not trading AMD pre-earnings. I'll trade the reaction off of it because I'll have better levels to work with, and it'll still be pretty damn volatile for me to trade afterwards. Now, if you're bullish on DraftKings long term, then you might want to trade it pre-earnings because if you think that you got a good dip and then it breaks out 15%, obviously you're in it big at that point, right? So there's a difference in terms of the swing play versus the reaction afterwards that I'm looking for, which is the day trade. So I'm going to take the day trade on DraftKings. Absolutely. Probably have it on our watch. Chuck, when is DraftKings earnings? If you're still listening to me yap right now. When is DraftKings earnings right now? Is it after the bell today? Is it tomorrow morning? What do we got? Rich has our earnings calendar. We'll post coming up. Chuck says no idea. Brian says tonight, though. There we go. All right. So helping both of us out there, Chuck and myself. So tonight we got DraftKings earnings. So we'll see what they're all about. I'll be a fan of it tomorrow. Little spoiler alert. DraftKings is on my watch list tomorrow morning. How about that? All right. So, folks, I think that we're going to wrap it up at least here for the meantime. I'll be back on the mic in about 20 minutes exactly, 3:05 Eastern. Last call from Benzinga Pro. I don't really think there's much else we've missed. EBS we talked about. SGB, Rivian. Ooh, Rivian up a sneaky 8%. What's that about there? Okay. Okay, what's this about here, Rivian? Is this Tesla too, or is this just Rivian right now? What's the deal? Rivian to receive $827 million in Illinois state funding. Company intends to boost capacity of plant to manufacture R2. Came out just a moment ago. So, I like the sound of a company receiving nearly $1 billion in funding. Sounds good to me. Yeah, up already 9%. I would assume resistance at 10, but it's also a short squeeze where this stock got smashed for a long time. So I'm certain that this could just be more of a short squeeze in due time here, not even just like, that news that comes out. So even if we have a pullback, look for new support to build. But this goes right on the top of our watch list here. Numero uno, number one. Cool. There we go. So we check Benzinga Pro. All right, there we go. So you never know what we find here during these meetings, folks. And with that in mind, hey, I'm going to jump off for the time being. I'll be back on in about 20 or so minutes. Again, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. I didn't have that QR code up before. There we go. It makes it even more important for you to scan that QR code right now with your phone, with your camera on the top left, popping up on our streams. If you're interested in continuing and following along with us on this Rivian trade, or some of the others at least, the ENVX or others at least there, just scan that QR code with your phone, with your camera. Otherwise, go right down to the link on the green banner below and sign up for a week-long trial. Look forward to having you there. But for students like Margaret, Chuck, Brian, Wendy, Joyce, all of us otherwise, let me refill up on water here. I'll be good to go coming up just shortly after 3 o'clock.